Hi, I'm Dr. Jason J. Campbell, and I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. This is the 6th video in my Discussions in Philosophy series, and in this video I want to discuss a concept that I came across during my graduate work in ethics. It's known as supererogatory actions, and the name of the theory that supports supererogatory actions is known as supererogationism, which is a mouthful. All it really stands for and all it really means, it's a rather technical way of saying actions that go above and beyond the call of duty. Things that you do, that individuals do, that exceed any requirement for individuals under most given circumstances. So the idea with respect to supererogatory actions usually come into discussion, not always, but usually come into discussion when discussing a branch of ethics known as Deontological Ethics, Deontic Ethics, which is an ethic of duty. And the two-second tidy of the concept is that when we're talking about duties and obligations, anytime an individual is said to have a right to X, then another individual or an institution has a duty to respect that individual's right to X. So if I have a right to X, then there is a corresponding duty to preserve, not to prevent, not to interfere with my right to X. Pretty simple. So with respect to the relationship between rights and duties then, we recognize that within the class of duties, within the class of deontic obligations, to be technical, there is a class of duties that exceeds this rights-duties based relationship, right? There's a class of duties that is so that the duty exceeds, the act exceeds obligation to such a point that the individual moral agent isn't said to be required to perform the action. So just a very simple example, because I don't know how many of my viewers actually know this concept in ethics. It's a very, very sort of esoteric aspect of contemporary ethics. Just as a gross example, if I do not have the ability to swim and I see someone drowning in a river, I don't have the obligation to jump in and save the individual from drowning because I don't have the requisite skills needed to save the individual from drowning. Okay, so that gives you a pretty, in a few minutes, an idea grossly of what supererogationism is, what supererogatory actions are, how they are situated within sort of a duty-based ethics and the relationship between ethics and rights. So that's the general introduction, and these videos are very, very short. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, so you'll probably have to do some outside research, and I'll provide some links on supererogatory actions for you to get a better sense of exactly what it is. But all of that is prefaced to the actual question, and it has to do with heroes, villains, and supererogatory actions. You have to think to yourself, and I've thought to myself, what is it that actually defines the hero, or the concept of heroism? What is it that makes the hero heroic? What does it mean to be heroic? And conversely, what does it mean to say that an individual is villainous? What is it to be a villain? And as many of you know who've been following me for a while now, if you have, I'm a bit obsessed with G.I. Joe's Cobra Commander as the ultimate villain. What makes him the arch villain? Similarly, a goody two-shoes like Superman. What makes Superman so heroic? My argument is that the idea of heroism and villainy can and should be situated within the concept of supererogatory actions. And I'm not going to go into and give a flesh out. I'm not going to flesh out or explain why I think and how I think heroism and villainy can be situated in the discussion of supererogatory actions, because that is the discussion point. So the discussion point for this video is probably going to require you guys to do a little bit of outside reading, because I'm just not going to go into the time in this brief video to explain the full nature of supererogationism and supererogatory actions. But I do want to ask you what your thoughts are on the relationship between villains, heroes, and supererogatory actions. So with that, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. I'm Dr. Jason J. Campbell. Have a good day.